Okay, all right. Um, so I'm gonna go through challenge two really quickly. So life expectancy. So the very first thing that I wanted you to do is I wanted you to determine three factors that decrease life and then three factors that increase life, right? So 3, 5, 10, 3, 5, 10. Um, and I wanted you to determine someone's life expectancy based on that. All right. So at the very beginning, imagine that everyone, when they start their life, they start at 80. So it says create a new Python file called life expectancy. Let's ignore that for a second. Let's say create a variable called life and make it equal to 80. That's number two. So there you go, life, and I made it equal 80. Finished. Okay, that gave me, I'm halfway there now. Now it says use commenting for the following. Determine three factors which increase life expectancy and three that decrease. So I'm just going to comment really quickly and I'm going to say increase. Oh, I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. Let me just make this Python. All right. There you go. Increase life. All right. And I'll comment again and I'll say decrease life. Um, So I was looking over some of your work. A lot of this is pretty like plain Jane, but some of you are having some really interesting answers. So I'm going to use some of your answers here. So what is the factor that's going to increase my life by 3 years? What is it that's going to increase it by 5 years? And what is it that's going to increase it by 10 years? Okay. And then what is that that's going to decrease my life by 3 years, and then by 5 years, and then by 10 years? All right. So let's talk about it. These are just comments, all right? So this is not a part of code, they're just comments because I asked you to comment, so you might as well comment. So maybe what's going to increase my life by 3 years is if I exercise regularly, all right? Or just I'm just going to write exercise for now. Maybe what's going to increase my life by 5 years is if I sleep 8 hours every day. All right, so I'm just going to write sleep. Maybe what else is going to increase my life by 10 years is if I love cats. And that's one of your answers, and I thought it was really funny, so I'm just going to use that. All right? Uh, and what's going to decrease my life by 3 years is maybe if I smoke. All right? What's going to decrease my life by 5 years is maybe if I eat a lot of junk, right? And then what's going to decrease my life by 10 years is maybe if I know how to fly. All right, just an example. All right, so at this point, you're finished. We're finished with this part right here, right? Now let's move on to the next question. It says, ask user all 6 questions, and then print or input using print or input, and then based on the input, increase, decrease the life expectancy value of the variable life. All right, let's do that. So this is the main part. So inside decrease, I'm just going to ask it questions. I'm asking the user questions. Sorry, I'm just going to use input. And I need to save this value somewhere. So let's call this question one. Um, do you exercise regularly? All right. And now I'm going to print question two. All right, I'm saving these to a variable and calling them Q1, Q2 because I need to save these answers somewhere, okay? As long as I save the answers, I can cross-check them. Um, I can check them and then I can decrease or increase life expectancy the way I want. All right, so do you sleep at least 8 hours a day? Sorry. I have no idea what I wrote up there. Regularly. Sorry about that. All right, and question three, and I'm gonna say, all right, input again, and do you love, let's change this to say cats. All right, so there's my three questions. Let's do my three right here for decreasing. So, sure, I'll go question four, input, do you smoke? And then question five, equals input, and it says, do you eat a lot of junk food? Okay, and then the last question, question 6, equals input. Do you, or sorry, can you fly? I know this is ridiculous, but I thought it was really funny. All right. So we're going to go with those 6 questions. All right. Now, for each of those questions, I'm going to increase my life expectancy or I'm going to decrease the life expectancy. And you can do all your condition statements at once. I'm just going to break mine up to be the increase ones here, and then I'm going to do the decrease ones here. Okay. So I'm going to say if Q1 equals, let's say, Y. All right. Well, I can't say equals. I have to say equals equals because that means equivalence. Don't forget the colon. Next line. Then I'm going to not print anything. I'm just going to change the value of life. So life equals the old value of life, which was 80 or, whatever it is at that point. And I'm going to add 3. All right. And I'm going to check Q2 now. And if Q2 equals Y, then I'm going to say life equals life plus 10, sorry, plus 5. And I'll do the same thing with Q3, but now since I'm getting good at this, I can just copy paste. If Q3 equals yes, then life equals life plus 10. All right, so that's the idea. Now, one of the things you might ask is, all right, how do you know that, the user is going to enter yes or no only? Maybe you just tell the user, right? Maybe you just tell the user, please print Y or N for all answers. All right? Just tell them. It's fine. All right? Now, we can't, like I said, in this course, we're not going to talk about what happens if the user doesn't enter Y or N. Well, in this case, if they don't enter Y, obviously nothing happens, right? Let's just finish the if conditions for the other 3. I'm just going to do this really quickly. I'll copy that, paste it there, change this to Q4, Q5, and Q6. And the life won't be adding, it will be subtracting 3, subtracting 5, and subtracting 10. All right, and at the very end, you need to print your results because that's what the question asks. The question says, comment your code where received, print the statement, your life expectancy is blah, 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 blah. All right, so let's print my result right here. So I'm going to say print and then use a string, your life expectancy is, and there's many different ways you can do this. The way that I like to do it was, like, if you look at it right here, life is, if you look at line 2, life is a number. It's a whole number, which means it's an integer, it's not a decimal place, and we're always adding or subtracting whole numbers to it. So whatever I answer to all these questions, life is eventually going to be an integer. So I can plus life, but I obviously can't do that because, well, life is an integer, it's not a string. And adding something to a string, it must be a string. So what I can do really quickly is I can do this, okay? And what I just did there was I concatenated 2 strings together, and I typecasted my life variable here as a string value. All right? You don't have to do it that way. You could also do it like this. If you wanted to use the comma, you could use something like your life expectancy is, sorry, and then write comma and then life. That would work too in Python. You could also use a placeholder. So you can say, again, your same thing. You can say your life expectancy is, and then, sorry, so the placeholder for an integer is %d, if you remember that, and then after you finish writing the string, outside here you got to say, all right, % and then life. All right, so this is The first one is concatenation. I will comment where necessary. The second one is listing using commas, right? And the third one is using placeholders. All right. So there's three ways you could do that. You pick and choose whichever way you like best. Uh, but yeah, that should be your solution. That took me just a little bit above 10 minutes. Please make sure you look at that. Please make sure you understand that. Um, and I know you're the class. Yeah, and that's about it.